In this video, we're going to go through the process of ordering a shutter. Please be aware that there is a Files and Download section at the bottom of the web page. In here you will find, among other things, specification sheets for each of the ranges and also written instructions on how to use the portal. First, we select New Order on the left-hand side of the screen. We now get a pop-up which asks us to enter a reference name for the order. This is what the order will be referred to, and therefore we suggest using either the customer's name or their address as the reference. In front of us now we can see several options available to us. In most cases you will select Add Shutter. If, however, you are only looking to order battens, posts or trims, then you can select them here. If you'll be adding these to order alongside shutters, you will have the opportunity to do so before we complete the order. When we have selected Add Shutter, we are taken to this page. The first thing to do is to specify a location. We would recommend that you are detailed in this, as the location you input here will be on the packaging of the shutter when it is delivered. Under Specify a Location is Measurement Type. If you are designing a shutter with a deco frame, select Outside. Alternatively, if you are designing a track system which is not going into a recess, but is going on the outside of the wall, also select Outside. For all other options, select Inside. The next thing to select is which range you're going to use. Dependent on which range you choose here will determine which of the shutter styles are available to you. For example, if we select Hampton, you have full height, tier on tier and cafe style shutters available to you. If you select Madison, you have all shutter styles available to you. In this instance, we will select Madison and then a full height shutter. Now that we have selected the range and which style of shutter we want, we can see the fields that need entering for the sizing of the shutter. In this instance, we will be inputting generic sizing. Please remember when inputting sizes to ensure that you have accounted for deductions you will need. We will build the shutters to the sizes you input, and therefore you must submit the sizes with the deductions already accounted for. Selecting the louver size drop-down, we are shown what size louvers are available in this range. When we input a louver size, we can see that the louver type drop-down menu becomes available. We now select whether we will be ordering an elliptical or an urban style louver. The next option available to us is extra louvers. This allows us to add additional louvers to the order as spares should we wish to. If you do not want any spare louvers, leave this section blank. Extra louvers are only available in Madison. If you are adding a mid-rail to the shutter, then you will need to fill in the last two fields in the shutter dimensions section. The first is mid-rail criticality. An explanation of this is provided in the help desk. To access the help desk, please click on the question mark icon. Critical mid-rails are only available in Madison. Next, we input the height of the mid-rail. When we start inputting the measurements of the mid-rail, you will see that another field appears to the right of it. This is where you input the measurement of the second mid-rail if you are adding one to the shutter. If only one mid-rail is required, do not input anything into the second mid-rail field. If no mid-rail is required at all, simply do not enter anything into these fields. We now move on to the shutter control section. Here, in Tilt Option, we can select which tilt control we want to have on the shutter. Depending on which range and which type of louver we have selected, will determine which tilt options are available for the shutter. The next option we have is Tilt Split Location. If the shutter is to have a split tilt, put in the measurement required. If no split tilt is required, leave it blank. Finally, on this page, we have Shutter Layout. In this space, you input what configuration you want to have the panels in. For this example, we will have a simple left-right opening. If, however, we were to choose an LTR, a left opener, a T-post and a right opener, then a field would appear below. In this, we would fill in the measurement to determine where the T-post is to be positioned within the shutter. Once the configuration has been added, we then can choose which of the panels will open first. As default, the right is always selected. If you want the left to open first, simply click on the left. When all details are correct, we select Save and Continue and progress to the next page. If any information has been missed, you will not be able to proceed until this has been corrected. On the next page, the first option we need to choose is what type of frame are we using on the shutter. We can cycle through the different options by selecting the tabs at the top of the section. When we've decided on which to use, simply select it. Automatically, we are then given the choice of which style type we are using on the shutter. You are now given the options of either a butt, ribette or astragal style. Please note that if you've designed the shutter with just a single panel, the option will only be a butt style. We now move to the frame options. If the shutter is to have the same frame on all four sides, simply select Same Frame on all four sides. If, however, you need one or more of the frame size to be different, select one of the options from the drop-down menus. The most common frame side which will differ from the others is the frame bottom. If you want there to be no frame on the bottom, select No. If you want either a sill frame or a light block, select the appropriate option. If you've chosen an L frame, should you need build out, you can select the depth here. Now select Save and Continue. On the next page, we have the colour options. Depending on which shutter range you select will determine which colours you have available to you. Having decided on which paint to use on the shutter, we now choose what finish to have on the hinge. Having selected the colours and hinge colours, we can now scroll down to view the shutter. On the left hand side of the screen there are 4 buttons. The first opens the louvers, the second opens the panels, the third gives a top view, and the fourth reverts to a front view. In the bottom right of the screen we have a zoom tool. You can also left click on the shutter and drag the shutter around to view it from whichever angle you wish. Moving down the screen, there is a section for special instructions. Any comments added into this section will be reviewed and actioned before being sent to production. You also have a section to the right which allows you to upload any images which can be of use to the description of special instructions. When this has been completed, select Save and Continue. At this stage, we have completed the design of the shutter. In the centre of the screen, you can see some key info on the shutter you've designed. If you want to see more detail, select the Show Extra Information tab. If you want to see a detailed breakdown of your order, you can download an Excel version. This is of particular use when you're ordering multiple shutters and you want to check with ease that all options have been inputted correctly. If you have another shutter to add to the order, or possibly battens, posts or trims, this can be done by selecting Add to your order. This is in the top right hand side of the screen. If you have other shutters to order which have many of the same design features of the shutter you've already created, the quickest way to add more shutters to the order is to duplicate the shutter already completed and make adjustments. To do this, select the 3-dot icon next to the price of the existing shutter. When the pop-up appears, select Duplicate Shutter. On the left-hand side, you will have the drop-down menu for the delivery option. If you're using Madison, you will see the options of Standard and Express Delivery. If you're using another range, there will only be the option of Standard Delivery. Once you've selected your delivery type, you will select the delivery address. This will be your business address. The next option to choose is whether you want technical drawings. If you select Yes, you will receive detailed drawings of the shutter. If you need to know the exact placement of a midrail, split tilt, number of louvers, etc., then selecting Yes to technical drawings is required. If you do not need this level of detail, you can select No. Please note, if you select Yes, you will need to wait to receive those drawings, confirm that you're happy with the shutters, and action this before the order is sent to production. Underneath the technical drawing section, you will need to select that you have read and accepted the terms and conditions before you can process the order. When you've submitted your order, you'll be taken to the orders page. If you're an account customer, the order will be put onto your account. If you're a pro forma customer, you will need to pay for your order. To do this, select the 3-dot icon on the right-hand side of your order. On the pop-up, select Pay. You will now be taken to a payment screen. Here you'll be able to process your payment. If you have selected technical drawings, no payment is made until the drawings have been returned and you are happy to proceed with the order. You will then need to make payment for the order.